Sup everybody, this is Karak with ACG, and it's my continuing adventure to bring you reviews that aren't 2 minutes long or filled with sponsored bullcrap. And today I'm all swiggity swooty and coming for that booty as I bring to you a review for Duke Grabowski, Mighty Swashbuckler, a point-and-click adventure whose first tale of pirating plunder is in episodic form, and it comes out for PC October 6th. So let's jump in and see if Duke is a worthy genre entry into the coveted pirate point-and-click that made Monkey Island games a household name. As always, if you like the review, maybe subscribe. So here's the review for Duke Grabowski, Mighty Swashbuckler. Fake old guy voices, potato-like skins, and smelling what the pirate rock is cooking. Graphics are up first. So ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to present to you the first game created in the patented Karak family reunion graphics engine, which means the landscapes and locations are beautiful, but the people all look friggin' terrifying. And I mean it, when you start adventuring, you see some actually really cool looking places, bars on stilts, lonesome and scary pirate strongholds, and gorilla wrestling rings, all presented in that slightly warped cartoon style with a pastel presentation that I think we all know and love from games like the Monkey Island series. But the problem is, the people within it are straight up genetically tied to the horrible character creations in late night Saints Row 2 create-a-character sessions. These guys look like things bad dreams have bad dreams of. I mean, really, when you think about it, games like these have always teetered across the line of creepy, and that is some of their charm, but I have to say, aside from particular characters, especially the women that you woo, the rest of these guys look like Play-Doh became sentient after watching an old Marilyn Manson video and just got up all filled with angry spirits and walked off to film a video game. Also, this dude, he's apparently made of mustard, but whatever. Now, luckily the locations themselves are actually interesting, and though this is only 2 or 3 hours long as an episodic title, at places like, say, the sheriff's office with its overabundance of readable bounty posters, the gorilla wrestling ring, and of course the fireman barbecue pit, were all done well, if a bit basic. Now, sadly, animations are exactly what you would think here, very basic, and while the main character interacts with the scenery in some pretty cool ways, movement between locations is noticeably of lesser quality than once you actually get there. The heavy use of color and lighting do a really good job to elicit a comedic atmosphere, but even at 1440p without any anti-aliasing to speak of, this can look very basic. As a package, I'd say pretty much average. Sound, music, and voice.
I'm all right. I landed on this crate of pillows. I can raise the gate just a bit.
Aye, good. I'll squeeze under. That's a face that... Ahoy, Captain.
Retired, actually.
Aye, you...
No, Captain William the Roach McCrusty. Retired.
Anything, just name it.
I'll be needing to seduce you.
Duke. Seduce? Well, what precisely do you mean?
Seduce. Woo. It means talk flirty, right?
Yes, that is exactly what it means. If you rescue my daughters, I will happily be seduced.
And of course, sound is up first, and it's average. While various sound effects within the game, like the collapse of a poorly supported bar into the drink, or the sound of HGH-ridden main characters hitting RSVP leaden cannonballs back to their owners, are all done well, there is sadly very little real environmental sound here, and while there is some wind here and there, or some crickets chirping in the background, this is a place where point-and-click adventures have an excellent chance to display good audio, as the stop and talk and walk gameplay of these titles allows for a magnificent window for environmental effects. Sadly, it's like someone came along and closed all those windows, and you're left with a surprisingly little amount of extending the environments with audio, and there's barely any layering, and really a perfunctory attempt at best. It's lodging the environments with sound that's important here, and it doesn't really happen. And of course, that brings us to music. Now, this is actually really impressive, not necessarily because I wanted to throw the tracks into my Listen at All Available Times playlist, but because the overall breadth in their style and presentation was really excellent. From scary movie-based synth vibes in the cavernous pirate holds to the expected steel drum and woodwind tracks we all expect in the main sections, and even some really exquisite whimsical moments when talking to the Charlie Sheen barkeep, who's dived a bit too deep into their personal depository of alcoholic beverages. It's a good assortment of tracks that fit the mood or alter it without really getting in the way. Voice. Now, if this isn't the ran out of gas with inside of the gas station voice actor moment, I don't know what is. Some are excellent, like the main character and his consistently idiotic questions about how to seduce women. It's voiced well and done with an on-the-nose style that's still handled with a bit of subtlety. Or the recognizable LL Sweet Tea. His voice is performed to perfection as well as that character. But the issues here are many. First, it's your basic job, should you choose to accept it, to go into town and woo 3 women to prove that you're a good replacement for the original captain who's died. And that's really when things go astray. You can actually hear the differences in mics, in many voices, with the mic actually appearing to capture a different frequency frequency range, then another, and picking up just a bit of the background in some of these recordings as well. Or the old man fake voice, which has been pulled off well by no one ever. Listen, no one even tries that anymore. It literally sounds like a voice director walked into the recording booth, kicked someone in the balls, and then somehow pushed a script into their face and said, "Read this, it'll sound great." And it doesn't, won't, and can't. So don't ever try that again. Now, one nice thing is the women actually sound really good. In fact, it seems like all the money was spent on the main character and the 3 women he woos, and the rest of the people were just picked up off the street after dancing with a pizza sign in their hands. Honestly, middling, if not a bit below average. And of course that brings us to gameplay. So like most point-and-click adventures, it starts with a quick story. A pirate ship's landed in port and the old captain has died. So the current pirates all decide to run for the lead position, which is pretty much exactly what's happened in the US with the presidential election, except here, I think we have a better set of opponents. You have Shifty McShifty Pants, the second mate of the original captain. He basically sets up you, Grabowski, on a quest to woo 3 women to prove your worth. As a dumbass, you don't really realize no one else is being asked to do this, but you go along with it anyway. And that really begins the tale of you helping out people on the island and skullduggery. And honestly, I liked a good deal of it. For example, when you meet someone and you're trying to woo them, you get their skills in your inventory. Now, when you need to use them, you just drag their skills onto a world item and see if it works. It's not a perfect system, but it removes some of the issues we've had in other games with a character following you around or getting in the way graphically, and just that difficulty in a point-and-click adventure when you control multiple characters. The one thing that really sets this game differently than others is that this was going to be a small, short game, then it got picked up by a publisher after it kickstarted and is turned into an episodic release, resulting in the full game that was originally planned actually being this episode 1. Now, I like that. In fact, it's that feeling of completeness that I really feel is rare in episodic titles, but you actually get here. That's pretty cool. Fun factor: it was a pretty good overall jaunt. It's short, like episodic games are, and it may not look the best at times, that's for sure, and it doesn't always have the best humor, but in the end, it was enjoyable to basically play through, and despite absolutely dumb as a box of boxes mentality of the main character, I actually ended up really liking Duke himself as somebody playable. So as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch it again rating scale. This is actually a wait for sale. It's a fairly bog standard, average point-and-click adventure game. I like some aspects of it, but there really is a lot of budget moments in this title that I feel that with just a tiny bit of care and not necessarily more resources, they could have actually hidden or made sound far more professional. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe check out the Patreon if I've ever saved you any cash. If you dislike the video, give it a thumbs down. And remember, if you want reviews that aren't filled with sponsored bullshit or 2 minutes long, stick with ACG. Peace out and enjoy the rest of your week.